Finally got the second place monkey off their back. You know, they had those two big lands where we thought, okay, they're going to do it, and then they didn't. And obviously one of those was right here in Manila at ESL 1.
They do kind of, I feel like they might just have like a kind of a target on their back. But I feel like for this series, they have to feel super confident. Like, I think we're all feeling kind of the same way. Looking at them, they're like 70-30, I'd say, if not maybe.
The greatest weapon right now is that you don't see, there aren't any glaring weaknesses in their lineup or in the way that they play this game. You see a lot of teams are very early game centric, or a lot of teams are very late game centric, with OG, for example. But Liquid
in Russia was the one of the few teams that do ban specifically for a team, whereas everyone else is banning for the meta. Right.
I think the other team would do that, would be
okay. But
they do like the roaming role.
Yeah,
right?
no, I agree.
It's like the system they're setting up. You have one roaming laner.
Yeah.
Earth Spirit, DP, or Earth Spirit plus Queen of Pain. Those are the two most dangerous
picks.
Their most picked hero in the last 3 months.
Yep, and this is, you know, as we always see, Alliance likes their push. So they have the no field, they have the Dragon Knight, they have some heal from Sunray. Just pretty much the standard. That's true. Tether can be annoying because it can't, like that. If you level Tether, it's 2.5 seconds where the illusions can't attack. Our Spirit has lots of AoE damage with the Death Prophet.
Yeah, and Liquid still has like.
And they pick an anti-mage.
Okay.
So
Alright, so very quickly as we go down the road,
we wanted to actually fight with, but
yes,
they just like a Slardar with a super late blink and anti-mage who's forced to fight before 25. It just didn't.
Team who just have no ego. I mean, they're two of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
Oh no. Well, we say.
LGD was pretty dominant in their performance. Like that whole game was the maybe show.
They're playing MVP, right?
Yes. Yep. And they were playing versus the Phantom Assassin, which we know is not really one of the most popular.
These guys now, after such a good play, but not a win, but you know, they've played really well. What do you say to them going?
Plays two heroes.
Oh man, and that's playing Rubik versus Lifestealer is actually pretty terrifying.
And they're going to stick with the Slardar as well.
Please put low
Darkseer and picking the Dazzle into it just because, you know, he's so good at dealing with it and healing your carry and pushing out the wave instead of having to deal with the Ion Shell constantly.
How do you
want a spell that can be used with a vacuum?
Fair enough.
They've used the Sven along.
Try to force the issue a little bit too much with the anti-mage in this game. They felt very comfortable and just farming, getting Bulldog nice and farmed, and
I mean, you asked me how that's possible, but how is it possible that Shiki couldn't play Lesh at TI5?
Okay.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, so there you go.
Yep.
Good call, Charlie.
I like that Death Prophet ban as well. That hero's been.
I like the fact that
with the Omni Slash rotations.
You have spells that enable you to fight early game with the spin.
The plan just didn't come into place there for Alliance.
And it begs the question, should Admiral Bulldog be on a tempo controller? Not that he's that bad of a bat rider, it's just the team doesn't seem to play that well around it. And Loda gets his farm, but they've lost all map control by the...
Just like individual players, it's very much about chemistry. It's very much about leadership and what can you build together, not just like the individual pieces and who's good, superstars like that. We've seen so many superstar teams fail, and what's really succeed.
Very worried in game 1, let alone after game 2. You're kind of like, oh no, what's going on here? Yeah, it's just a bit of fun. I do want
the Fnatic or prior to the Shanghai Major that consistently shows up to lands and then they disappoint. They don't do well. Mushi's constantly changing roles, and it's just not impressive. And that's what people think of when they think of Fnatic.
I do hope they ban the Dazzle though.
Yeah, agree.
Yeah, I think Dazzle is the only support right now that can stabilize the lane for like.
Liquid get tested a bit there. I think they should be pretty happy with how that game went and the win, other than that one big team wipe at bottom lane. But I think even if they go back and look at the replay, they're going to be like, whoa, Ohio just made a really sick vacuum.
Yeah.
But Fnatic just kind of felt...
He somehow brought it back. And Ohio this time, I think, was my MVP. For the Ravages,
the number 3, Liquid get truly tested, and we see both teams just kind of going with some unconventional lanes. The picks themselves, I don't think anything too crazy outside of the Leshrac on Fast. Looking at them there, they're too beat down. They know that they're versing the favorite to win this tournament. They took them to 3 games. They had 3 close games. So I think Fnatic just got to look ahead to their lower bracket match.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're not out of this yet. They're not going to the lower bracket.